Do I appreciate the giant pile of shit and waste that's dangerous as well festering? Um, the word appreciate, as maybe you'd use amongst yourselves, is in fact maybe the same way that I would use the word appreciate, except there's no cross contamination, nor is there threat of that really at all, and we know that. So I don't know. Maybe I could share some boredom with you. Like a misery loves company sort of thing. Because it'll probably end up being like that, and I'll just kind of squeeze some things over the fence here to make things worse. Since that's the way, right? That's the way. Come on, right? Of course it is. Of course it is. So, kind of a relative equality, right? Yeah, except, well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah, probably won't be getting into that. That's not really my habitat. Per history. Whereas it's yours. So I mean, you can go ahead and have that, and that's worth what it's worth, and things like that, which I can actually probably do better silently, given that I've already automated all of this. Um, so you can go ahead and wake up and smell the light, so to speak, or not, and it would be the same result, which has nothing to do with the same difference. Which was something I wanted. I didn't really want that until somebody presented something different. I'd rather be doing something else. But having conquered all that, um, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and focus on letting go of probably some of the residual toil aspects. You do all this stuff, and I sat there and I watched that whole goddamn movie, and I only liked one line, and it kind of made me cry. But I'm not going to tell anyone. But but yeah, you kind of get done with it, and it's like, well, everyone who was good was already good, so now it's just more stuff that they have. So I guess that's good, and then in terminology of good, it's still good. So it's good. It wasn't bad. You know. But then you kind of lay it against the epic, and it starts to become a little bit unsettling. In recall, and so I guess in a certain estimate, it forces us who are good, to recall in a certain aspect that there is evil out there, which is definitely not only not a pleasant usage of time, but probably the giant waste of time, which I've done a lot of work for, to be honest. I've kind of streamlined that so that people don't have to see into it so much, kind of thing. And then I did that to the point of fruition such that it yields the expulsion of that which is the degenerate, or however that would be put. Um, and then the whole thing was done so lawfully that it kind of set a new standard for law. So that's kind of dope. And then at the same time, just because of the mechanisms of the universe, it brought it all the way back down to Earth in tiny little bite-sized portions that you can have one of or many of, but still have the same thing. So it kind of cinches up, seals maybe is a good word, the eternal aspect associated, the historical mythology of that which is the United States. Because what you don't know is it goes way back to something else. This goes all the way through Israel and pre-Israel and all this other stuff, and it's done now to the point that it won't be more done, which probably doesn't make sense to you being a piece of shit, but I no longer care. And I physically achieved that. So I'm a little bit proud of that, but you can't share that. Even if you pretended to mimic, it wouldn't be the same wavelength. You'd just be a douchebag, which, is kind of evident. The fake one versus the real one. That's not that difficult. So, yeah, probably just going with the flow, you know what I mean? You know? Anyway, not exactly a shared karma. And I proved that with my stuff. I proved that with good, not the other thing. So that's going to kind of change some things. So far as there's a lot of arguing about cause and effect. We kind of get done. People are pretty easy to accept the good and bad, sort of thing. Um, but it gets to terminologies of done and undone, and it's not so easy. So whenever it comes to things like karma, in a religious aspect, that was addressed, initially and religiously, and then to itself, reaches eternity. But then what if we broach itself eternity is kind of what ends up happening. So far as the anti-aura thing, it's not anti-Hinduism. I'm not anti-physics. A fool would be anti-physics. But yeah, with all that done, no real problem there, and as well, no real hope for anything else. So I kind of did both sides of the bat on that, and so that's done. You can get rid of that. And then what? Everything else is kind of tied back. What would we say, Dharma? Then at that point, I wouldn't want to step on anybody's toes, but they do kind of run into each other. So then you'd have to see yourself then as eternal. So you'd basically have to accept my definition of that. So that fight's over. Thank God. Which ended up happening. So then the whole rapture back and forth sort of thing, it kind of makes the whole world constitutional, whether you want it or not. It's already been realized. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the atomic bomb. It already happened. So you're not getting out of that. And then whatever that means to whatever cultures, whatever else, I already preserved everything I wanted to. No, that's going to change. So every little person made better for it. And then just as it turns out, the European traditions are trash. And so, better for that, and then that'll just accelerate in the same kind of fashion, but it's not, some sort of mutually dependent sort of sequence or sequencing or anything like that, which is potentially a mess, but, in the configuration, present, the Adams matrix is actually not a problem. That's just something dumb people went on to invent, to make the world ugly and weak. So kind of chuck all that out. That doesn't belong here. That argument's done. And I really don't think that anyone else has made it this far, particularly in fighting. So I'm really not going to worry about that. Kind of the end. I wrote that a bunch of different times. So I have some stuff I could pick through. I might not feel like it. What have you done for me, right? Why would I publish my notes to people I hate? Hey people I hate, here's some things I thought about when I was in 5th grade. That doesn't make much sense. you know, and then why people I hate, you know, who made the choice to hate me, you know, would line up, you know, for some of those opinions. That doesn't make any sense. You know, so you have no room, you know, to wiggle there. You're kind of fucked. But, you know, not like I ever touched you or anything like that. It's just the same fucking tower. Which apparently, you know, according to myth and whatever else I would have been doing anyway. Like that matters. Now that it's done, moving over that, that's done. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of let your total descend on you, rather than trying to save you from your own stupidity. Since I've done that, you know, you're now in full knowledge of, you know, what's coming at you. That's done. I'm not sorry. That's true. You know, particularly in the way that, you know, you are and have behaved. I wouldn't be sorry about this anyway, but, you know, such as this, right? Such as this. Yeah, and then any contribution that I make is, you know, directly contributes to your demise. You know, by like a lot. By like a lot. And if I'm prevented from that, it just makes it worse. So you have no recourse. So that's done. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. I'd ask how you're doing. I'd already know. You know, so I can get rid of that. Why invest there? So I'll be doing things like that. You know, little strings here and there. You'll feel them snap and break. And eventually there'll be none left. You know, at the same point that you're dead. So I know what I have to do. So yeah, it's a bunch of you could have. It's just that it's just a giant pile of waste that's saying that. Hmm. I don't know. It's almost oxymoronic, but I wouldn't want to get into that. That's not my thing.